Good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? The message today is arm yourself and prepare like you never have before. I put up the one last night about the member of the Israeli Knesset calling for a nuclear strike on Gaza. It's obviously emotional hyperbole. We would hope so. We would hope that no sane person would say that, but it's indicative of the kind of thinking that's going on right now for a member of their governing body to say that out loud and to say it for publication and then for it to be published. It sends out all sorts of messages. You've seen the demonstrations, protests growing into small riots here in the United States. I said this was coming here. Many of the pro-Palestinian protests, they're resulting in violence. They started in a few cities in America and the United States. And now they've grown, and they've grown around the world. This is going to continue. This is a fire that could engulf most of the world. Probably not Russia, probably not China. But for the West, this is a fire that could spread through the West. Don't minimize this. You're going to hear a lot of stories come out. Some of them may seem unbelievable. Understand that both sides, and I know, I don't have to tell you all this, but both sides are going to come out with information, propaganda, trying to get the world on their side. This story, and I'll put it up. It was a CNN story, and it's appeared in other places about the claim that Hamas decapitated 40 babies. Okay, you hear these things in every conflict. Now, am I saying that it didn't happen? No, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. Do I believe that it did happen? I don't disbelieve, but I don't believe. You can't take all this. You can't just accept what's being said. These things are put out there to inflame the passions of different people. If you saw that, now the reality of some things can be horrible. And that's why I will say that I don't disbelieve it. I mean, anybody who has dealt with the horrors of the world, you know the horrible, unbelievable things that people can do to other people. Okay, I'll put it up on the Patreon if you haven't seen it. The article about Hamas coming into the border towns and killing everyone. I don't disbelieve that at all. Okay, I'll put it very. Now the details, that's what they try to inflame you with. If you'll remember back when George Jr. wanted to invade Iraq, they were having trouble getting Americans on board. You know what happened? Then they started putting out stories about rape rooms. Nothing inflames the Western psyche, especially, well, I was going to say especially men, but women too, than rape being used as a weapon. That's all you heard. As soon as they started talking about rape rooms, and then they would show a picture of a an empty room, really, maybe with a table in there, or say, this is a rape room that was, okay. And then, I mean, the support for an invasion of Iraq, not to mention the fact that they said there was WMDs there, remember that? All of a sudden, now America was all for invading Iraq. This is what they do. As soon as they interject certain things that will trigger, okay, killing babies, raping women, it seems so simplistic, but it works. Okay, I'm just saying that. Guard yourself against believing just anything that you read or hear. Again, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. It very well could have happened. But don't let that be your deciding factor for anything. Watch everything, because both sides are going to be using propaganda heavy in this. Okay. Now, what's our point here? I just put up one over on the Patreon channel. I think it's the third in our self-defense series, and that is attack responses. What should be your response to an attack? And I covered that. This is the reason that if you all saw the poet that was stabbed to death on a New York street, okay, didn't know how to respond. This is one of the problems with what has happened in Israel. The response wasn't fast enough or complete enough, so a lot of people have been killed and injured or taken as hostages. And I talk about that, and so if you're interested, and you should be, I would recommend that you do go to if you're not with us on Patreon, the link is down below. This is on the Stonemont level, so it's the second level. That's where you get the audibles of my books and self-defense series, some of the organized crime stuff, things like that. But it is something you need to think about and be aware of. You need to, so the important thing now, this is spreading. It's spreading into our country. It's going to continue to spread. The pro-Hamas groups, and I think most people will be surprised to see how many there are in the United States, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas. Most people will be surprised how many there are and how many people hold to that position. As this continues to escalate in Israel and in the Mideast, did you happen to see that Israel just ordered Chevron, I believe is the operator of the platform, one of the platforms of natural gas, to shut down its production, and a lot of that supplies Egypt and Jordan. So we're seeing as always, we're seeing a multi-pronged military response. Israel's very good at that. And this is what's going to make it spread. And hyperbolic propaganda is going to make it spread, and we're going to see that exploding more, I think, here in our country. The thing is this: arm yourself and prepare like you never have before. Understand that these attacks can happen anywhere. And as this grows, it's going to spur local groups, if there are local groups that are standing by. We all know about sleeper cells. Of course they exist. Why would they not exist? Okay. We don't know at what time they might rise up. Do they all rise up at the same time? Does one rise up here and another one over there, and then a couple weeks go by and everything settles down, and then another one? The amount of destruction that they can cause would be amazing, and I think it's beyond the average American mind to imagine it. And I hope that we don't see the reality of it. But these things can happen anywhere at any time to anyone. You are the one that's responsible for your safety. You're the only one responsible for it. The police can't be there all the time. You can't carry around your own cop. That's why you carry around your own gun, right? You have to be ready for it. Talk to your family members about it. Explain to them, or try to explain. Try to get them to understand how quickly this can explode here, how quickly a danger can present itself to you anywhere, at the grocery store, the soccer game, going to work, at work, whatever. It can happen anywhere. You need to be armed. So arm yourself with something that's effective. And I'm going to jump on here. I'm going to piss off I don't care, all the nine turds out there. Carry a gun that's effective. Okay, this is too serious. This is not about punching paper. You might find yourself in a position to where you have to use that thing. Actually use that thing to stop an attack on you or your family. Okay, you want a caliber that is big enough to be effective. 40, 45, 10 mil. Stop it with a 9mm. It's not effective enough for real world trying to kill your ass attacks. Okay? Simple as that. If I get one person on here that tells me all the reasons that the FBI says that the 9mm is an effective target, I will know that you don't know what you're talking about, that you get all your information from gun magazines and YouTube channels who don't know what they're talking about, and I will not only take your comment off, I will probably ban you for being an idiot. Simple as that. Guys, we're getting into stuff now that is far too serious to be mamby-pamby about this stuff. The next thing, prepare like you never have before. They're shutting down. If we see more fuel interruptions that our own government has set us up for, you're going to see fuel prices, if war escalates, you're going to see them skyrocket. That's going to bring about skyrocketing of everything else you buy, because everything comes on a truck, and if they're paying more for their fuel, they're charging more, and that means you're paying more for your beanie weenies, right? Okay. So stock up everything. Stock fuel, stock food, stock toilet paper, stock everything. Stock toothbrushes, toothpaste, cleaning supplies. Have you gotten all your warm weather gear that you need to get through the winter? Do that. Fill up your propane tanks. Buy more propane tanks. There could be interruptions of everything if real war spreads. And it could be the result of what's happening over there. It could be the result of attacks here. It could be localized attacks. It could be cyber attacks against banking, against the internet, against delivery systems. It could be anything. You don't know. See, this is the purpose of total, full preparedness. This is what I write about in my books. I haven't mentioned those yet. This is what I write about in my books, and I do suggest this is a commercial for the Stonemont series. Okay, if you're serious about preparedness and you haven't read this series, this should be the very next thing that you do. Okay, they are my books. I wrote them. The first one came out in 2017, so people have been learning about from these books in 2017. I have people who have called me and said, I have read through the whole series 6 times. First off, because it's such a great story. Secondly, because there's so much in here that they read through them. The 6th time, they're still finding stuff they didn't catch the first 5 times through. The reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, and hostages to fortune. Yeah, we just got in the new load, and because we had run out again here. You can get them through Amazon if you want them fast, but if you get them, the better way is to get them through me. Order through our website, stonemont.us. It lets me sign them for you, and I love to do that because I love my relationship with my readers. But this is the complete plan for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding. It's about community. Rebuilding after a complete collapse. You're going to love the story, but you're going to need the lessons, okay? So get those. The link is down below. There is nothing that you should not prepare for. You need to prepare to be totally self-sufficient, totally self-reliant. We are at the edge of a potential world war. When we have nuts like this Knesset member, she's with the Likud party, actually calling out loud for nuclear strikes on a neighboring area. I mean, it's close to them, crying out loud. I know they're talking about tactical nukes. I know they're talking about very small things. Israel has a wide array of options. We have gone into a new era to where now this is being threatened openly. And, I'm waiting to see if anybody's going to say, hey, you shouldn't say that. We'll see. We'll see. But prepare like you never have before. Everything could stop like that. And whatever you have is what you're going to have. Okay? All right. I'm going to leave you with that. Remember, join us on Patreon. There's a lot of great information over there that never gets to YouTube because I just don't put all that stuff on YouTube. The books available on the Stonemont website. Join me if you haven't got your Stonemont. Yeah. Geez, Steve, you just sell stuff. That's my business. I'm a capitalist, right? I write books. Do you know why I write books? Well, I like to write. I like to share information. I like to teach people. And so if I write a book, I like to sell it. That's what I do as a living. Okay. That's for the person who will say, all you want to do is sell your books. Well, I want to help people, and the information is in my book. So if you don't like it, if you can't read, y'all remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. You're going to live as well tomorrow as you prepare for today. Things are getting serious. Keep an eye on the news. Pay attention. This is one of those times that watching the news is important. It's not one of those times for saying, I can't stand everything that's coming down the road in the news. It just makes me depressed. Well, yeah, okay, you can be depressed and then you can be surprised. Better to be informed and keep your eye on the target. See what's happening. Recognize the threats and be ready for them. Again, I'll remind you, we're talking about, responding to threats over in the self-defense section in the Patreon channel. That's on the Stonemont level, so join us there if you'd like to. Y'all have a good day. It'll be interesting. We'll see what's going to develop over the next day or so, and I imagine there's going to be a lot of developments. So prepare, stay safe, stay aware, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.